The Galactic Council's chamber fell silent as Ambassador Zethkari of the Hegemony rose from his crystalline seat. His four eyes swept across the assembled representatives of 12 civilizations, each species having survived the great trials of spacefaring evolution. Today marked a solemn occasion, the final declaration regarding the fate of species designation 7 Alpha, humanity. Esteemed colleagues, Zethkari's translator rendered his clicking speech into universal standard. After 73 cycles of monitoring, our long-range sensors confirm what our models predicted. The third planet of the Sol system shows no signs of technological civilization. The nuclear detonations detected in cycle 2157 appear to have been their final act. Murmurs rippled through the chamber. The Vorthak delegate's tentacles writhed in what passed for mourning among her kind. Even the typically stoic Nexari dimmed their bioluminescent patches in respect. The humans showed such promise, wheezed Ambassador Korath through his breathing apparatus. Their first radio transmissions were crude but creative. We had hoped. Hope is a luxury we cannot afford, Zethkari interrupted. The monitoring protocols are clear. No electromagnetic signatures above baseline stellar radiation. No orbital structures. No response to our probe transmissions. By all measurable criteria, they have joined the 67% of species who destroy themselves before achieving interstellar capability. The Council's Archon, an ancient being whose species name was unpronounceable by most attendees, activated the ceremonial declaration matrix. Golden light filled the chamber as the official record updated. Species 7 Alpha, self-designation, human, status, extinct. Date of confirmation, Galactic Standard, 2230-4. Cause, presumed self-annihilation. Via nuclear warfare, let this serve as another reminder. The Archon's mental voice touched each delegate's consciousness of why the Prime Directive exists. Premature contact corrupts natural development. We observe, but we do not interfere. The session concluded with a traditional moment of silence for another lost civilization. As delegates began filing out, discussing trade routes and territorial disputes, none noticed the subtle anomaly in the chamber's quantum sensors, a brief spike that suggested something had just translated into their local space-time. 7. Light-years away in the outer reaches of the Sol system, a massive structure phased back into normal space. The Endurance had spent the last 200 years in dimensional fold space, humanity's desperate gambit to preserve their species, while Earth healed from the self-inflicted wounds of the resource wars. Admiral Sarah Chen stood on the command deck, silver hair pulled back in a regulation bun despite decades in the black. Her augmented eyes displayed real-time data streams from the ship's sensors as they swept the solar system they once called home. "Report, Commander Hassan," she ordered, her voice carrying the authority of someone who had shepherded humanity through its darkest hour. "Ma'am, Earth's atmosphere has stabilized. Radiation levels are within acceptable parameters. The automated terraforming systems we left behind have done their work." Commander Hassan's own augmented interface flickered with data. "More interesting is what we're picking up from the outer monitoring stations." "Oh? Alien probe signatures? Admiral, dozens of them. They've been watching us." Admiral Chen allowed herself a thin smile. "Have they now? How long?" "Based on decay patterns of their quantum signatures, approximately 73 years, ma'am. And they stopped coming because they think we're extinct, Admiral. The fold space translation created a perfect electromagnetic dead zone. To outside observers, it would appear that human civilization simply ended." Chen nodded, slowly. Humanity had learned painful lessons about trust during the resource wars. The decision to go dark, to hide in dimensional fold space while Earth recovered, hadn't been made lightly. They'd emerged stronger, unified, and technologically advanced in ways their predecessors could never have imagined. "Ma'am," Hassan continued, "long-range sensors are detecting a massive artificial structure approximately 7 light-years spinward. Energy signature suggests it's big. Really big. A space station? More like a small moon, Admiral, and it's not trying to hide. Chen studied the tactical display. After 2 centuries of isolation, humanity was about to make contact with a galaxy that thought they were dead. The irony wasn't lost on her. Their species had survived by disappearing, evolving and adapting while the rest of the galaxy moved on. "Signal the fleet," she ordered. "All ships Phase 2 protocols. We're going to introduce ourselves to the AO neighbors." The Endurance was not alone. Behind her, 97 other vessels began their own translations back into normal space. Colony ships, research vessels, manufacturing platforms, and warships that incorporated technologies born from humanity's crucible of survival. They had learned to work together or die apart. They had chosen to live. "Admiral," Hassan's voice carried a note of professional concern. "Their technology appears to be significantly behind ours in several key areas, but their civilization clearly spans multiple star systems. How do we approach this?" Chen considered the question that had haunted human philosophers for generations. How do you introduce yourself to neighbors who think you're dead, especially when you've spent 2 centuries becoming something they couldn't have imagined? "Commander, open a channel on all frequencies. Let's see if they remember how to answer the door." Across the galaxy, in the Galactic Council's monitoring station, alarms began screaming. The night shift operator, a young hegemony technician named Yithsor, stared at his displays in disbelief. The Sol system, quiet as a tomb for 7 decades, suddenly blazed with energy signatures that made no sense. "Sir," he called to his supervisor, mandibles clicking with nervous energy, "you need to see this. The extinct human system, it's not extinct anymore." On his screen, 98 vessels of unknown configuration had appeared as if summoned from the void itself, and they were broadcasting. "This is Admiral Sarah Chen of the Human Federation to any listening civilizations. We apologize for our absence. We've been indisposed. We're ready to talk now." The galaxy was about to learn that humanity's greatest strength wasn't their technology, their weapons, or their numbers. It was their stubborn, relentless refusal to stay dead.